Masuki and I left the station and ventured to the heart of Hitogata.
葬式は神社でやるのか。
いいえ、葬儀は汚れに当たるので神社でやることはないそうです。
さすがに仏式の葬式しか知らないしな。
自分だって持ってませんよ。
昔のがあるんじゃないのか。
学生服を着ろとでも言うんですか。
そりゃ無理だな。
Besides, I highly doubted Mariko would allow us to pay the Hinagamis our condolences as much as I thought it best.
神社に行くんですよね。
ああ、そうだったな。
Masuki and I ascended the snowy stairs. Shika's shrine was as silent as ever. However, several wicker trunks now sat under the shrine office's eaves. All the implements for the funeral, if I had to guess from how Kensei Shikasa was attending to them. Maybe I should offer to help him carry them.
ケンセイさん。
Kensei looked up from the trunks.
綾人君、何かあったのかい？
そういうわけじゃないんですが。
Masuki turned to me.
時坂さんが何か用なのですか？
ええ。
もう放っておいてもらいたいのですが。身勝手だとは思いますが、私たちは
承知しています。だからこそ未来のために尋ねたいことがあるんです。
未来のため。
Yayoi emerged from the office just then, carrying a white robe.
お父さん、これってすぐに使うのよね。
なあ、そこの氷に入れてくれ。すまないが、綾人君、手伝ってくれない
Yes,
か。
Ayato, give her a hand.
はい。
時坂さんはこちらに。
Kensei led me away until we were out of Masuki and Yayoi's earshot.
私にとっての未来とは娘のことです。
存じています。ですが、あと一人、
綾子さんのことで。
ええ。しかし、行方知れずで生死も定かではない彼女のことが。
それは。
Kensei fumbled over his words.
もう隠し事はなしにしましょう。
そうですね。
教えてください。綾子さんの居所を。
彼女本人の居場所は昨日も言った通り分かりません。ですが彼女はここを出るときに
Yep,
見
there it
守って
is.
いたそうです。
I instinctively looked Masuki's way.
やはり綾人くんですか。
何もおかしなことではありませんよ。付き合っていたとするな。もともとあなた方が素性を隠していたのですから、血のつながりなどは関係ない。
It wouldn't have been incest.
そもそも彼は自分の姉と結ばれる予定
Being
だったの
ignorant
で
of the
す。
fact doesn't negate it. Officer, I didn't know it was incest, okay? We're cool. It's like, no. Ironic that he fell for her body double instead.
まだ連絡がついていた頃、彼女は東京で子供を産んだそうです。しかし育てることもできず、
Okay,
孤児院
interesting.
に預けたと聞いています。
So originally I was working with the theory that potentially Fuyumi was Ayako, right? But that or either Fuyumi is a great actress, but Fuyumi said she adopted Yukiko. It wouldn't make sense if she had given her up. And we know that Yukiko did live in an orphanage. So if that were her actual daughter, it wouldn't make sense for her to give her up and then come back and take her. So her actual mother would have to be someone else entirely. Interesting. Interesting.
その孤児院の名前を存じていますか？
確か白百合の園だったかと思います。
お話しくださりありがとうございます。
この先仕草家やひながみ家のような旧体依然としたものは消えていく運命にあるのでしょうね。
Kensei sighed.
文化や伝承として残るものはあるでしょう。しかし人の生活は変わります。
I bowed to Kensei.
我々はこれで失礼いたします。
いいえ、これは私たちの仕事ですから。
Kensei flashed a mild-mannered smile.
わかりました。では。
The white bird swooped across the sky as I made my way back to Matsuki and Yayoi.
なんか下手な飛び方だな。
ライチョウですよ。
The bird he was drawing for Satsuki. Turned back to see Matsuki looking toward me.
あれがライチョウか。初めて見た。
私も初めて見ました。
本来ならもっと高知にいるんですよ。自分も見たのは随分と久しぶりで。
Matsuki explained that to me as he watched the bird fly away. I returned to the inn and prepared to take my leave of this settlement. We didn't have much to pack, seeing as how we left Tokyo empty-handed.
もう帰られるのですか？
ええ、用はもう済みましたから。自分が秀臣さんの葬儀に出るわけにも。
そんなことはないと思いますが。
挨拶は済ませましたし、それに喪服がありませんからね。
But deep down, it was because I didn't have the nerve to face them after what I'd done on his deathbed. Just then the door opened, revealing Masaki.
リヒト。
時坂さん、帰るのでしたらですけど。
Masaki set his bag by the front door.
お前は喪主だろう。
喪主はばあさんが務めるそうですよ。自分は昨日感動された身ですからね。
いいのか？
じいさんとの別れはもう済ませてますから。
人でなしだな。
あなたには負けますよ。
Masaki
それ
grinned.
じゃこれから人でなしの娘を迎えに行くとするか。
やっぱりそう思いますか？
調べないと本当のところはわからないけれどな。
ですよね。
俺だって子供はいないのによ。お前に養えるのか？
I mean, you're not a father, but you do have experience in, paying to raise a teenager in your home.
まだそうと決まったわけじゃないんですから。
Masaki turned to you.
若女将、宿代はいくらになる？
時坂さんから2人分受け取っているわよ。
ほら、行くぞ。今ならまだ今日中に東京に着けるはずだからな。
Picked up Masaki's bag and tossed it to him.
はい。ありがとうございました。
どうも、お世話になりました。
I bowed to you, but followed to see us off.
いえ、こちらこそ。何のお構いもできませんね。
じゃあ、これで。
リヒト。また帰ってくるわよね。
正直わからない。
そう。
Yukiko stopped in her tracks numerous times on her way over to the hospital. However, Yukari patiently waited for her each time.
大丈夫ですか？
Yukiko nodded. They received a call that morning saying Kohane had stabilized. Though a little hesitant, Yukiko had ultimately agreed when Yukari suggested they go visit her together. And yet her resolve appeared to fade with every step she took. Yukari hadn't asked her a thing. Well, she would have been lying if she said she didn't want to know what went down between her friends. She figured Yukiko would confide in her when she was ready to talk. However, Yukiko hadn't said a word about it over the last few days they'd spent together.
時坂さん、なんです？先に行ってて。私も待ちますよ。
Yukari stood by Yukiko.
でも、ここは寒いから。でしたら、中に入りませんか？
Yukiko nodded and meekly followed Yukari. There were still many people in the waiting room awaiting their turn. Yukari took Yukiko over to a bench by the wall so neither of them would get in anyone's way. Yukiko took a breath and put down the bouquet she'd been carrying.
お水を持ってきましょうか。大丈夫。
Yukiko balled her tiny hands into fists atop her lap.
会わなくちゃダメなのよね。
No, eventually you'll both end up going back to school, more than likely. Well, Yukiko's in a weird case because I'm sure the congregation's looking for her, but Yukiko clearly heard that, yet decided she was better off pretending she hadn't.
時坂さん、何ですか？先に行って小羽ちゃんの様子を。それは構いませんが、やっぱりまだ怖いんです。あの時の小羽ちゃんがまだいるような感じがして。わかりました。
Swear to God, Yukiko, don't you dare fucking run away. Yukari got up.
見てきますので、ここにいてくださいね。
Yukari left her bag with Yukiko and went looking for Kohane's hospital room. Eventually, she found a door labeled Kohane Tori. Upon doing so, she knocked on the door and waited a bit.
はい。
Kohane finally responded after a beat or two.
小羽、ゆかりです。ゆかり？お加減はいかがですか？ごめん、ゆかりち。今は誰にも会いたくない。小羽。そこにゆきこちゃん。いいえ、まだ気分が優れないようで。しばらく会いたくないから。
Probably for the best.
わかりました。小羽、
Yukari stepped away from the door. She hadn't expected Kohane to shut her out. But in hindsight, perhaps it shouldn't have come as a surprise. After all, while she hadn't been told the explicit details, she'd heard that Kohane had gone into shock so great that it sent her hyperventilating. Whatever happened between her and Yukiko clearly had been no simple falling out. And it was something that ran far deeper, something an outsider like Yukari had no hopes of helping with. Will the issue even resolve itself with time? Yukari made her way back to Yukiko, her heart weighed down like lead.
時坂さん、小羽はまだ面会できないみたい。また今度にしましょう。
Yukari couldn't bring herself to tell the truth.
そう。
It hurt Yukari to lie, but neither could she pass such venomous words onto Yukiko.
京子さんのお見舞いに行きましょうか。
The two of them had planned to visit her as well from the start, so the trip wouldn't be totally wasted. And while Yukari had brought a present for Kohane, she figured she could just pass it on to her nurse instead.
ええ。行きましょうか。
Yukiko got up.
無理はしないでくださいね。うん。心配はいらないわ。
And with that, Yukari led Yukiko to Kyoko's room. Once there, she knocked on the door.
どうぞ。失礼します。あら、ゆかりちゃん。
Kyoko swallowed her words when she saw Yukiko.
京子さん。
Concerned Yukiko approached the bed.
ええ。京子さん。着替えはここに置いておきますね。
Yukari set down the bag she was carrying.
ありがとう、ゆかりちゃん。お洗濯物はどうしますか？それはこちらで洗ってもらえるから、そのままで構わないわよ。わかりました。
Yukari nodded, only to cock her head when she noticed how Yukiko was acting.
よかった。本当に。
Her friend was holding Kyoko's hand and crying, as if it were the end of the world. Kyoko seemed rather bewildered.
ゆきこちゃん。痛くありませんか？私にできることでしたら。ありがとう。でも大丈夫よ。
Kyoko smiled at Yukiko.
だから何も気にしなくていいのよ。わかりました。
Yukiko hung her head. Perhaps she was unhappy that she couldn't do anything for Kyoko.
ゆきこ、お花を生けたいから用意してくれませんか？え？あ、はい。
Yukiko turned away from the bed and set her bouquet on the table.
私は花瓶に水を入れてきますから。ええ。京子さんはどんなお花が好きですか？そうね。今の季節だったらスノードロップかしら。
There's gears turning in my head. Nothing I want to announce outright, but there's gears turning in my head. Yukari listened to them converse as she carried a vase out into the hallway. She filled it with water in the bathroom and was en route back to Kyoko's room when she noticed a girl in a hospital gown sitting on a bench. Hi, Michiru. The girl looked up and met Yukari's gaze. One of her eyes was covered in a bandage. It was then that Yukari remembered Reiji had mentioned this girl.
こんにちは。
The girl looked away as if she were
お
shy.
名前は？みちる。
That's right. Reiji said her name was Michiru Shirasaki.
京子ちゃんのお見舞い？ええ。着替えなどを持ってきたんです。そう。
Michiru's eye abruptly locked onto Yukari's vase.
それは？持ってきたお花を飾るんですよ。お花は好きですか？タンポポが好き。タンポポは持ってきていませんね。じゃあひまわり持ってこられませんね。聞く？お見舞いのお花には不向きですね。残念。
Michiru's shoulders slumped.
中に入りましょうか。うん。
And so it was that Yukari entered Kyoko's room with Michiru in tow.
あら、みちるちゃん。
Michiru approached Kyoko.
どちら様？
Yukiko separated the flowers as she glanced at Michiru. Oh, is Michiru going to see Yukiko and recognize her?
こちらに入院されている方のようですよ。そう。
Yukiko placed the flowers in the vase.
余ったお花は持って帰りましょう。ええ。この花瓶はどこに置けばいいですか？そこのテーブルの上でいいわ。みちるちゃん、お願いできるかしら？
took the vase from Yukiko. She suddenly froze when she looked up and saw the other girl's face. Yukiko cocked her head. The vase shattered across the floor. Yukari rushed over to a crouching Michiru.
危ないから離れて。
However, it turned that Michiru was covering her face, not picking up pieces as Yukari expected. Michiru clawed at her bandage like a rabid animal.
みちる
Yukari grabbed Michiru's arm. Michiru shook her head.
さん、落ち着いて。何があったの？
Yukari embraced Michiru to stop her from hurting herself. Yukiko, who had reflexively stepped back in response to the mayhem, timidly spoke up. And then,
どうして殺したの？
for a moment, Yukari wondered if she'd heard that correctly.
みちるさん。どうかしました？
Gaara threw open the open door at that precise moment.
それがみちるちゃんが急に苦しみ出して。
Kyoko quickly explained.
おっさん、白崎さん。
Gaara and nurse both helped Michiru get to her feet. Michiru shook her head.
割れたガラスは危ないですから。はい。
The two women practically had to drag Michiru out of the room.
よくあることなんですか？そうね。あの子は時折発作を起こすようだけれど。ほうきとちりとりを持ってきます。
However, no sooner had Yukari taken a step to leave than did she stop after noticing Yukiko sitting completely still in a chair like a soulless husk.
ユキコ、大丈夫ですか？
She'd probably been rattled by Michiru's sudden episode.
うん。
Yukiko weakly nodded.
お医者様を呼びましょうか？うん。大丈夫。
Yukiko shook her head.
ほうきとちりとりをね。
Yukiko got out of her chair and headed for the hallway. It only took a moment for Yukari to notice her friend was treading on clearly shaky feet.
休んでいてください。大丈夫だから。
Yukiko brushed Yukari's off her side and left the room. Yukari could do nothing but watch her leave.
ゆかりちゃん。
Kyoko's voice snapped Yukari out of her trance.
はい。ゆきこちゃん、どこか悪いのかしら？わかりません。壮健な方ではないと思いますが、記憶がそれで。
Kyoko nodded to herself. Yeah?
京子さん。なんでもないのよ。
Yeah? Yeah? Is that where we're going with this? Because obviously, Kyoko seemed a bit surprised to see Yukiko there. Though it's weird, we've never seen Kyoko be like surprised around Yukiko before. Or in that moment, she seemed surprised to see her, right? And like, clearly this doesn't mean anything, but the fact that her name's ends in a ko kind of, gets my gears turning. Because then Yukiko also ends in a ko, and that could be related to something else. And as far as I know, do we know any other names that do? I don't know. But the fact that now she's saying like, oh yeah, Yukiko sometimes just doesn't remember things. And so now Kyoko's like, oh, I see. It makes sense now. And we're like, what do you mean? What makes sense now? So now I'm curious, is that going to be the big turn of events? Interesting. And if so, that complicates things a bit.
片付けますね。
Yukari crouched down and picked up the flowers.
危ないから触らない方がいいわよ。花だけですから心配いりませんよ。
Yukari wanted to get a new vase for them if possible. Simply leaving them out to wilt would have left a bad taste in her mouth after all. Why did you kill him? Michiru's voice replayed in Yukari's head. What did she mean by that? Yukari wrestled with that thought as she mulled those words over. Who is he? Why was he killed? Who killed him? Suddenly Yukari's fingers stung with pain. She'd been so zoned out that cut it on a piece of glass. She looked up at the bed, hiding her finger. Luckily, it seemed Kyoko had noticed. Good. I want to give her something else to worry about. Yukiko returned just then.
ありがとう。
Yukari set the flowers on the table before taking the broom and dustpan.
血
It was then that Yukiko noticed the blood gushing out of Yukari's finger.
怪我しちゃったの？
Yukari took a tissue from Kyoko and was about to cover her cut with it. And Yukiko suddenly kissed that finger. Girl? But it was just as quickly that Yukiko let her go.
ごめんなさい。でも、ありがとう。
Ladies, please. Easy now. Yukiko then took the tissue from Yukari and carefully wiped her finger with it.
時坂さん。何？帰りましょう。
Yukiko turned to face the door with those words.
京子さん。
Flustered Yukari looked at the older woman.
ええ。また今度ね。はい。失礼します。
Yukari bowed and followed Yukiko out of the room. And then we consider the fact that Kyoko is roughly the same age as both Reiji and Masaki. Maybe even slightly older. Do we know Kyoko's age? Do we? Oh wait, that's backlog. Wrong button. Do we know?
Yukiko.
Oh right, we're in Yukari mode, not Reiji mode. Damn it. Because then she also mentions that she lost her husband sometime during the war, right? But if her husband is referring to who I think it is, maybe she just doesn't know what happened to him. Or maybe she does. I don't know. I don't know how in the loop she might be if she is who I think she is. Interesting. Yukari called to her friend after she suddenly stopped in the middle of the parking lot.
時坂さん。私と一緒に行ってもらいたいところがあるの。
Yukiko turned around.
どこですか？少し遠いけれど、今から汽車に乗れば大丈夫。
Oh wow. Yukiko's face resembled an emotionless doll's. Seeing that set off alarm bells in Yukari's mind. She knew she was probably better off not taking Yukiko up on that offer.
そこには。
And yet she asked that question regardless. What exactly is she after?
そこは私が始まった場所だから。
Oh ho ho. It was past midnight by the time Masaki and I arrived at Ueno Station. The station's typical hustle and bustle was nowhere to be found, the food stalls and outdoor bars hosting nothing but drunkards. Masaki strolled back from the ticket counter as I finished taking stock of my surroundings.
ダメですね。山手線はもうないみたいです。
そうなると神田かお茶の水から中央線を捕まえるのも無駄だろうな。
It was great that we were back in Tokyo and all, but getting stranded in Ueno was not my idea of a homecoming.
タクシーを使うしかないでしょうかね。
バカ言え。こんな時間に捕まえられるのは大抵ぼったくりだぞ。
My place was even further out than that.
まあどうせ列車が来ないんだったら焦る必要もないよ。
いらっしゃい。
Looking for a bite, are ya? The takoyaki stall vendor cut in before I finished that thought.
あ、いや。
せっかく寒い夜にあったけえもんで暖を取ってもらおうと思ったのに。
Oh great, trying to tug at my heartstrings. Classic.
とりあえずここでいいんじゃないですか。
Masaki whispered into my ear. I guess I'll save us the trouble of picking a place to eat.
じゃあ親父たこ焼き2人分頼むわ。
構わねえよ。
The old man got to work on the takoyaki.
そうだ。この辺に酒屋はあるか。
そこの道路を越えた御徒町の方にあるぜ。
だそうだ。
え？買いに行けと言うんですか？
銘柄は任せるわ。親父、ここで飲んでもいいだろ。
暴れなければ構わねえよ。
だそうだ。よろしく。
わかりましたよ。
Masaki got up and crossed the deserted street. Meanwhile, I set up a wooden table and chairs I found gathering dust nearby and took a seat.
紅生姜を多めに頼む。つまみにちょうどいいんだ。
はいよ。
The old man produced a small plate stacked with pickled ginger. That's all he's got for now, huh? Oh well, better than nothing. Shrugging, I pinched some of the minced ginger with my chopsticks. Ah, shit, I pressed the button. Then popped it into my mouth. Okay, didn't miss much. And this would be great if only I had some beer to go with it. That nitwit better get back soon. Steam rose high from the plate of takoyaki he served. Made it look good given the circumstances, yet somehow I was still paralyzed with stark dread.
Ah,
I took a bite of takoyaki. It'd been grilled just right and wasn't raw, but that was all I could say in its favor. I threw in some more ginger, so I was at least tasting something. Old man showed a large tub of batter. How is he still in business when he's got that much left after midnight?
Hey, 今夜はサービスだ。じゃんじゃん焼いてやるからいっぱい食いな。
He poured more batter onto the grill with a smile. This guy's not kidding, is he? I looked away for a moment, only to see Masaki finally returning. As it turned out, he had company.
何をしてるんだお前は。
よう、お前も食うか。
私は帰りたかったんだが。
Toji glanced over at Masaki as she retorted.
こいつが閉まっている酒屋の前で途方に暮れていたからな。
そうですよ。いくらなんでもこんな時間に酒屋が開いているわけないじゃないですか。
Said the guy carrying a bottle of booze regardless.
じゃあその酒は何なんだ？
私の事務所にあったやつだ。親父、コップあるか？
はいよ。
The old man produced several drinking glasses, foggy from what was probably decades of use, and handed them to us.
まあ、濁り酒だから問題はないか。
どこの酒だ？
信州の味噌蔵で使われている
He
米
used
麹を
miso
使ってい
brewing
るんだ。
factories.
保存が難しくてなかなか飲めないものだぞ。
そいつは楽しみだな。
Muskie filled all our glasses. Stared at my sake, watching the white particles floating around in it.
親父さんもいかがですか？
俺は下戸だからよ。こいつを食ってくれるだけで満足さ。
The old man presented us with some takoyaki.
つまみにはなるか。
Toji picked up her glass. Our three glasses met with a satisfying clang.
結構甘いな。
飲みやすいだろ。密造じゃない。きちんとしたところで作っているやつだからな。
甘酒気分で飲んでいたら酔いそうですね。
Muskie helped himself to some ginger.
ところで時坂、富山から帰ってきたばかりなのか？
ああ、向こうのことは一段落ついた。もっともほとんどが刑事事件として立件できないものだったけどな。
時効か？
そういうことだ。こっちは宇津木の件はどうなっている？
捜査は進んでいるようだが、まだ被疑者ははっきりしていないようだな。
そっちの犯人も。
ああ、同一犯なのかも分かっていないようだ。
宇津木が織部を殺し、その宇津木をまた誰かが殺したって可能性もある。
可能性だけだったらいくらでも言えるさ。
Toji sipped her sake.
しかし本当に飲みやすいなこれ。
潰れるなよ。介抱なんてするつもり。
気をつけることにするよ。
I held my glass out to Masaki.
自分でついてくださいよ。
釣れないなお前も。これから娘に会いに行くのによ。
関係ないじゃないですか。
娘？
何の因果かこいつに娘がいることが判明した
This
んだ。
bastard has his own bastard.
まだそうと決まったわけじゃありませんよ。
Muskie downed his glass of liquor.
それに何と言って会えばいいのか。
パパだよって言えばいいだろ。
バカじゃないですか。
Muskie's eyes had glassed over. Damn, is he that much of a lightweight?
時坂さんだって娘くらいいてもおかしくない年じゃないですか。
Ha. Yeah.
俺のことは別にいいんだよ。
Yep, he's plastered.
ま、悪いことじゃあるまい。
Toji poured Muskie another glass.
すみません。
娘ってのはよ。
It sounded like the old man was venting.
こっちが汗水流して働いて稼いでもな。
Is he speaking from experience? Not that I had the guts to ask.
飲んでるか時坂。
それなりにな。
The half-empty glass was topped up the moment I said that.
お前な。
残すわけにはいかないからな。足りなくなれば。
その酒屋が閉まっていたんだろうが。
何？はしご酒ができる店はいくらでもあるさ。
Toji popped a takoyaki into her mouth.
相変わらず微妙にまずいな。
うるせえ。
Just eat your goddamn takoyaki.
そもそも味噌を使っていないのがダメだ。香ばしく焼き上げてから
You
味
forgot
噌を
the
塗ればうまく
miso.
なるだろうに。
味噌バカ言っちゃいけねえよ。
貴様、味噌をバカにする気か。
Get his ass, Toji.
これだから藤四郎は困るんだ。
味噌を侮辱することはこの私が許さん。味噌入りで作れ。
She's totally shit-faced too, isn't she? Fuck yeah! I was going to explain what happened to be the birth of the Great Takoyaki War of 1958 or something.
まあ落ち着けよ。
お前は何を言ってるんだ。私がたこ焼きを作るわけがないだろう。
And let me drink in peace for all that is holy.
俺はどうすりゃいいんですかね。
An inebriated Masuki groused as he glugged down his drink.
知らねえよ。
Guess there's only one way out of this. Work your black magic, booze. Oh, fucking idiots. I love them. The next morning, I found myself out Sakura Damon with the mother of all hangovers. How the hell did you find your way home?
時坂さん、
Masuki, his face green to the gills, was right next to me.
自分昨晩の記憶が
Yeah, where did y'all stay
そい
that
つは奇遇だな。俺もなんだ。
From what I can recall, we had a drink with Toji at the takoyaki stall, then ended up hopping between God knows how many bars. Toji ditched us at some point, yet miraculously we still had enough to pay off all that booze. All things considered, it was no shock my brain felt like it had been crushed under an anvil. Even the sound of trucks zooming by was akin to a million screws drilling into my skull. No one in the train over dared to even approach us without a 10-foot pole.
行くか。
So what, y'all just kept drinking until daylight, and then like, alright, trains are going, let's go to the police department.
その前に便所行ってきていいですか。
とっとと行ってこい。
Yagidama was waiting at CID Section 1.
先輩、ここに来るんでしたら。
They would greet us with a pinch of his nose and a few steps back.
仕方ねえだろう。家に戻る暇だってなかったんだからな。
In reality, I suspected I wouldn't have woken up until evening had I gone straight home after a night like that.
で、何の要件ですか。
うつぎの件で来たんだよ。伝えることもあるし。
まあ終わってはいますがね。
Yagidama turned his head, indicating a familiar face lying alongside the visitor's sofa. Natsume.
今朝まで書類をまとめていたんですよ。
襲っちゃダメだぞ。
当たり前じゃないですか。
Yagidama was uncharacteristically short with me.
まさか襲われたのか。
そんなわけないでしょ。
Damn, Yagidama never swears like that. Natsume must have been this close to showing him hell on earth. Natsume awoke, probably aroused by a racket.
ついてますよ。
ああ、せやったね。おや、時坂はどないしはりました。
宇津木警護の解剖結果を知りたいそうですよ。
ああ、なるほどな。ちょい待っててな。
Natsume teetered straight toward the exit like the living dead.
それで、先輩。
Yagidama quickly changed the
こ
subject.
っちの警察に関係がありそうなことは何もねえよ。
ひながに製薬のことも調べていると思い。
違法治験についてか。それだって時効の期間はせいぜい3年だろう。
その治験によって被験者が死亡していた場合、殺人罪に問うことができます。それならば15年。
Sounded like you didn't believe that he had simply been a group suicide then.
現在、ひながみ製薬に捜査員を派遣して関係書類を押収しています。
ここにいるんですか。
I got Masuki to break the
面会は
silence.
させられないぞ。
Yagidama shot down that idea before it could even get off the ground.
でしたらじいさんがひながみ秀臣が亡くなったことを伝えてください。
わかった。
Yagidama
あ
nodded.
あ、そうだ。こちらの件に関係するかはわからないが、宇津木恵子があちらに行っていたという情報を掴んできたぞ。
宇津木が人型集落に。
祭りの見学だったそうだ。まだ典型の会の頃だろうが、おそらく宗教儀式などを参考にしようとしたのだろうな。さらにはそこで沢城七子にかけられた殺人の容疑を晴らしている。
うん。今はまだ何も言えませんが、心に留めておきましょう。
Lets me return just then.
お待たせしましたね。何からお話しします？
まずは死因を教えてください。
はいな。仏藩の死因はコルヒチンの過剰摂取による嘔吐で、気管が塞がったことによる窒息死ですな。
ヒ素は検出されなかったんですか？
I remembered she discussed that possibility at the scene of the crime.
毛髪その他からヒ素は検出されませんでした。長期的な暗殺計画みたいのはなかった。
それでは事故死？
Not
そ
necessarily.
うとも限りまへんえ。仏藩は長いこと痛風を患ってたようで。
だとしたらどういうことが考えられますか？
せやね。お薬一錠に含まれるコルヒチンが異常に多かったりすれば。
そんな薬があるんですか？
ないとは言い切れまへんな。コルヒチンは比較的どこにでもあるものですさかい。
Couldn't imagine Hitogami Pharmaceuticals would have gone to all that trouble, but who was to say?
まあこちら藩は他殺っちゅう線で捜査するみたいです。
That's me pointing to Yaginuma.
裁判所から令状もおりましたから、あの建物内部を捜査させています。さっき
何かついでがありそうだな。
Yaginuma just shrugged.
そうそう、あそこで拘束したチンピラですが、喫茶店に嫌がらせをしていたことを認めましたよ。典型会系列の金融会社に雇われていたそうです。
やはりな。
本人たちは信仰とは無縁でしたね。
京子を襲ったことは？
商店主を襲ったことは否認しています。そもそも怪我をさせて借金を返せなくなるような真似はしないとのことですよ。
So why did Kyoko get stabbed? That's the question. This clearly had nothing to do with the debt collectors. There is the possibility that she said, well, no, didn't they say, didn't whoever say that the angle from which she was stabbed would be incredibly unlikely for her to have done it herself. So she was stabbed by someone else. The question is who, and why would they target her? Clearly she's a pivotal character in this case in some way, shape, or form, which gets my gears turning back to what I was originally thinking of her. Just saying. That was exactly what made this so confusing for me. Worst they would have done was threaten her. After all, if they really had stabbed her, all she'd have to do was call the police and they'd be behind bars in a flash.
そもそも商店主から被害届が出ていませんから。
Still didn't get why Kyoko refused to say anything, but that was beside the point now.
代わりにオリベのことを話してくれました。他殺であったことを証言したので。
目星はついているのか？
オリベ時弘が殺害されたと思われるのが10日の早朝です。関係者を洗ったところ、12日にあそこからいなくなっている人物が分かりました。
Would that have been Yukiko? 12. So that day,
犯人であるならば、殺害後すぐにいなくなっているんじゃないか？
教団はあくまで他殺を否定していましたからね。かばいきれなくなりそうだったので先に逃走させた。そうとも考えられます。
Oh, they let Yukiko go? Yaginuma stared at me head on.
茅原由紀子は先輩が保護していますよ。
俺が彼女のことをかばっているとだ。
まさか先輩はあちらの人間ではありませんし。
Yaginuma adjusted the bridge of his glasses.
ただ僕は彼女にお話が聞きたいんですよ。事件当時内部にいた数少ない人間ですからね。
今日帰ったら伝えておくよ。
よろしくお願いします。
I knew I thought he'd found me for not getting to it ASAP.
ついでにこれを返却しておいてもらえませんか。
Yaginuma produced a bag from under his desk. Same one he'd impounded from Huyumi the other day.
中身は？
金額と紙幣の番号を調べただけです。一切中身に手はつけていませんよ。
それは当然。
Wouldn't have put it past him to skim a stack or two, that much was sure.
そんなはした金で人生を棒に振るほど。
You sure about that?
先輩こそ返却する前に横領するような真似はしないで。
当たり前だろ。
Masuki and I took a train to Musashi Sakai and arrived at the Kayahara's apartment complex. Fortunately, my hangover decided to show me some mercy by then.
途中で銭湯にでも寄ればよかったですかね。
脱衣場にそのカバンを置いておくわけにもいかないだろう。
I pointed to the bag Masuki was carrying.
落ち着きませんね。
堂々としていればいいんだよ。
Rang the Kayahara's doorbell with Masaki in tow.
ごめんください。時坂ですが。
Fuyumi opened the door moments later.
どうも。
おはようございます。今お時間よろしいですか？
ええ、どうぞ。
Glum Fuyumi led us inside.
何もお出しすることができず、
いえ、お構いなく。
I only needed a single glance till the apartment had clearly seen better days.
こちらにどなたか訪ねてこられたりはありま
いいえ、警察の方も典型会の方も来ていません。
冬美さんはずっとこちらに？
ええ、保育所は知り合いに任せています。
戻るように伝えておきます。時間を置いたので彼女も落ち着いているでしょうから。
よろしくお願いします。
Fuyumi bowed.
冬美さん、
Masaki presented her with the bag.
これは
警察から返却されました。中身は一切手をつけていませんから。
ですが、
ですよね。
Masaki nodded.
典型会に返却するわけにもいきませんし。
Didn't know how it all worked legally, but I was pretty sure she was still the rightful owner of the money.
わかりました。
Fuyumi nodded and took the bag from Masaki.
こんなものよりユキコが戻ってきてくれることが。
そうでしょうね。ところで、そのユキコさんのことなのですが、
前のこと、白百合の園にいたことくらいしか知りません。あの子も話すことはありませんし、お医者様が言うには精神的な負担もあるのだろうから、自発的に話すまでそっとしておくようにと。
Must have been talking about the gaps in Yukiko's memories.
なぜそのようなことをお尋ねなさるのですか？
This time I was on the opposite end of the interrogation table. In response, I silently shot Masaki a look.
それはですね。
His eyes danced across the room. Still, I held my tongue, seeing as this wasn't my place to speak.
そう。ユキコさんが自分の娘である可能性があるんです。
え？
Fuyumi's eyes widened. Yeah, that was the only reasonable reaction.
どういうことですか？
昔、自分が彼女の母親に送った髪留めを身につけていたんです。この写真に写っています。
Masaki took out two photographs. One was the color photo of Yukiko, while the other was the black and white photo with Ayako in it.
こちらの写真では鮮明じゃありませんが、ユキコさんが身につけているこれは。
それを覚えているのですか？
Fuyumi's voice sounded shaky.
ユキコさんのお部屋から探してきていただけませんか？直接見れば確実にわかると思います。
ですが、
朝木、無茶なことは言うもんじゃない。
Fuyumi was looking rather unsettled, so I threw her a bone.
ですが、
And I think that's why she's unsettled, though. Because when he mentioned that, she said, "You remember that?" As if she would know that that's part of his memories. Like her voice started getting shaky the moment he showed her the picture. She gasped, right? And all of a sudden, she's like, she doesn't know what to think. She's unsure of everything.
すみません、貝原さん。こいつ気ばかり裂いていまして。
いえ。
Amy shook her head.
でも、朝木さんのおっしゃるようなことはないと思いますが。
どうしてそう思われるのですか？
それは。
Amy bit her lip. Holy shit. Could it be? Could it be?
まさき、お前一旦席を外してくれ。
え？どうしてですか？
Masaki lashed back, hardly a shock given the circumstances.
そう、声を荒らげるな。近所迷惑だし。
ですけど。
いいから病院に行って買ってきた土産物を配ってきてくれ。
I shoved a bag into Masaki's hands with a voice that emphasized I wouldn't be taking no for an answer.
いろんな事情があるんだよ。当事者でもあるお前はいない方がいい。
わかりましたよ。
Masaki got up, albeit clearly not entirely placated.
あ、一つだけ置いていってくれ。
So is Fuyumi actually? I swiftly took something out of the bag.
申し訳ありません。こんな形で。
I handed Fuyumi a box of sweet sake steam buns.
は
あ。では、失礼します。
Masaki left with those
すみ
words.
ません。彼にはまだ聞かせない方がいいと思いましたから。
いえ。こ こちらこそ申し訳ありません。
Fumi bowed.
彼が言っていたことを何か否定される点はありますか？
それは
Fumi struggled to get anything out.